Okay, I think it's 7 o'clock. Should we start? Yep. So, thank you very much for coming. My name is Vera Klekovkina. I teach French at UWSP since 2011. So I'm very happy to be here, and I am happy to see you all here. This series is very dear to my heart. I had a vision that I want to talk about robots. And I talked about it to my assistant dean, Tobias Barsky, and special thanks goes to him because he imagined it in even bigger. And then I went to talk to Dean Hagen, who made it even bigger. And so now we have this engagement series for an entire year. And I'm so grateful that you believed in my vision and also that I found kindred spirits. UWSP professors who will be presenting, and you can see all of their presentation on our wonderful website that Carrie Hutton created, and her attention to detail is absolutely invaluable. Thank you, Carrie. So you see all those wonderful labels, bottle things, what is it, stickers? So please, Emily created the art and Carrie made it happen, so you can all enjoy it as a memento of this event. So thank you for coming, and I just want to tell the final thanks, and that goes to you guys, all the UWSP students, because it all started with you. For me, at least, before I go into the robotic moment, I want to tell you what happened in one of my classes. I was teaching a seminar on global cinema, and one of the units we were talking about the Stepford Wives. Students were so interested about potentiality of replacing humans with robots that they were so enthusiastic. They couldn't stop talking. And that's when I said, I have to study this because I want them to be as talkative as they were at that moment. And I embarked on this journey. And while I was doing that, I discovered that other UWSP professors are also interested in robotics or robots and representation of robots in the cinema. For example, Carrie Elza will be the next presenter who will talk about why robots rule the world. And I see Patrick Conley, professor of psychology, who will talk about perception in robots and humans and how it is interfering. We will also hear from other professors. I think Joshua Horn, professor of philosophy, who will talk about the implication of robots and rights for robots. We will hear from Tommy Heimanen from computing and new media technologies, as well as James Berry from the Department of English. So you might ask me, why talk about robots and why invite so many different disciplines? Well, because we live right now with you in the robotic moment. What is this moment? It's a moment of emotional and psychological readiness to consider robots not only as our pets, but as our friends, as our confidants, as our potential partners. So, the future is here. The time for us to go to personal robot, not like personal computer, is maybe only a couple of years away. And so what are we going to do? What are the philosophical implications of that? Of course, we all think about robotics as being used for military purposes. And it's true. The robotics market is growing exponentially. So in 2018, I think around $30 billion. By 2026, they anticipate it grow to $74 billion US dollars. That's only in 4 years, right? And of course, military robotics is the largest sector. So here you see a little drone and you think, okay, it's a little inoffensive drone, right? Well, it's automatic, meaning it could actually, and autonomous, it can actually decide questions of death and life without human input. I don't know if you are comfortable with that. Well, what if they are using this for civilian surveillance? Because it's so small and almost invisible? I don't know. Children toys, right? Anybody in this audience has ever taken the batteries of their Furby while the child was asleep so you can shut your Furby up? No? I have. I've done it because that's what robotics or robot toys are doing. They are asking us for attentions, for distractions, right? Anybody owns a Tamagotchi? Yeah! You have to pay attention to them. But attention to do what? And distract us from what? If we think about it, that's when it becomes a serious question. Of course, they were serious, mere curiosities at first. And we all know Sophia the robot, right? Designed in 2016 by Hanson Robotics, right? Well, did you know that Sophia the robot became the first robot citizen in the world in 2017? While she was presented at a technological conference, Saudi Arabia was so impressed by this marvel. They're like, that's it. You will be first robot citizen. Well, of course, that brought outrage and questions about rights. Women in Saudi Arabia have less rights than Sophia the robot. Some men also have less rights, especially immigrants or foreign workers who have worked in that country for their entire lives do not enjoy citizenship. So that hasty decision was not well received, shall we say. But what's going to happen when robots are here to replace us? Yeah, you think this is future? This is not. This is actually taken in India in 2019. India and Finland were first countries to introduce robot teachers to teach subjects like math, geometry, chemistry, math, and languages. Yeah. So, what about a spiritual robot? Right? So, meet Mindar. Mindar was developed in 2019 by a guru of Japanese robotics, Yushiro I practiced, but apparently not well enough. So let me find it, but I will tell you his name. And you might have known him more than I do. So his name is... And I got it, finally. Hiroshi Ishiguro, okay? You probably heard his name, right? Because he was the first one who developed a robot that looks just like him. His 5-year-old daughter was afraid to go in the room with the robot, and he said, that's okay, she just needs to get used to it. And so poor child was traumatized for years. But the steward of the 400-year Buddhist temple where Mindar is now performing the Heart Sutra, it's a pre-programmed reading, but that's what the steward said. With AI, we hope Mindar will grow in wisdom because we hope to introduce machine learning to this robot to help people overcome even the most difficult troubles. It is changing Buddhism. Medical assistance. The second, or maybe the third, the first one would be military, the second sex robots, and the third one would be medical assistance. Growing sector in robotics market, because especially during COVID, the shortages of nurses and all the requirements of shutdown were putting nursing staff at the conflict of how to provide care and yet still continue serve other patients. So here you see Row Bear. This is a lifting assistant, first created in 2019. It was perfected by 2015 in Japan. Japan actually is the leader of robotics because they were concerned about aging population for years, and therefore they have different robotic assistants, if you wish, developed. Also, one of the implications of using robotics would be to help with elderly care. Meet Paro. This is a therapeutic seal. And the reason it looks somewhat incomprehensible, it has very strange, undistinguishable features, because it's actually easier to bond with this for patients with dementia or cognitive disability. And so during COVID, many US nursing homes, of course in Japan it is very popular, but US nursing homes purchased Paros to help their patients to deal with loneliness. We all have chatbots on our smartphones, right? Like Siri or Google Assistant, but today they are more and more prevalent in different spheres. So for example, here you can have a psychological consultant. So this is a mental health assistant. And New Zealand in 2021 came up with the first politician, Sam. So you can look it up. And they think that this political chatbot would be more successful than a real politician. Well, of course, we can assume that when people want to get entertained, why not to be entertained by sex bots who actually have AI now, and they can give you compliments, they can tell you that you look wonderful today, and the latest development is that a sex robot now can give consent. So you're supposed to treat well your sex robot. But what is it going to be? How is it going to change our romantic companionships, right? How will it change us as humanities? This is Dinesh Patel, and his family is very, very proud of him because this is a first Indian family to come up with a homemade robot, made completely out of waste materials, meaning trash. So this very low-cost creation will, again, revolutionize the market and will enable us to have our own robots very soon. So what is going to happen to humanity? This is the questions that I kept asking myself as I was working on this. And I thought, did we lose the courage to be together? And I thought, we need to be back to the arena. And if you know Brené Brown's talks about the arena, this is what we need to do. We need to all get there. And as I thought about arena, of course, I wanted to show you a Roman arena in France because I want to go back to the beginning of my introduction to French classes at UWSP. Because, of course, taking French 101 could be as scary as being in that arena, right? But you can be really courageous and take 3 languages at our department, French, German, and Spanish. And I know just the person who did it, Sophia Wanser. I am so proud of her. So when Sophia came and started talking to our French class, about a studio that she discovered of aerial arts at Stevens Point, I immediately knew there was something radical happening right there in that moment, because she was so enthusiastic about it that I thought, ooh, something will happen. And today, she actually directs that studio. So I am, again, very proud of all the journey that Sophia was able to do. And her example, an example of the motto of their studio, live life courageously, makes me think about type of courage that we need to have in our lives. Courage to be, courage to relate, and courage to care. And so these are some of the books that actually were guiding me through my research. And if you go to our website, Troy Espy from the library created a special library guide for our event. So you can see the books that we have here at the university, all the streaming videos and hard copy DVDs. So I'm really, really happy and thankful for his work. So there is nothing left to say. Let's be courageous, let's be human, let's dare to be human. Please welcome our artists to the stage: Sophia Wansa, Emily Fritz, Rachel Simonis, and Madeline Buckle. Close. So I'm sorry, but Madeline just informed me that she is a first-year UWSP student. So welcome, and maybe she will take my French class in the future. But Emily, Rachel, and Sophia are UWSP graduates. So I thank you for your meaningful contributions to our community. Thank you. We actually created a little fun survey.
joining us and flying with us. Everyone can do it.
And we have mini aerial classes for kids. I see one in the audience, Karina over here. So, yes, everyone can do it.
Yes.
Yay. Thank you.
If you have questions for the artist, or if you would like to make some comments, please feel free to do that. I would like to thank you for putting this amazing interpretation of what humanity is able to do. And I don't dare to do what they do, but my daughter actually said, I want to try that. I'm like, wonderful, please do. And so it's been amazing, a wonderful journey. And again, if you want to make any comments, please feel free. But I think that was a great example of what we're good at as humans. Amazing creativity, daring to be great and doing it. So I secretly hope we don't lose it, because I don't want to watch robots do this. And I want us to fight for us. And so thank you. You just made a really good point. We can. So. Well, if there are no questions, have a wonderful night. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And don't forget, next Tuesday.
Still need a picture with you.
Yes.